Today, we're stepping into one of the rarest vintage toy stores.
When I was 7 years old, I had cancer. And so I missed out on a lot of my childhood. People sometimes want you to fail. It's just human nature.
Number one, this is a lifestyle.
It's about the lifestyle. It's because 2025 is not that fun.
Number two, this is Red Genesis in Gastonia, North Carolina.
And I am filming on my brand new camera that I picked up here.
And today we talk to the owner, Red, and find out exactly what he's carrying in his store.
I tell people this is my collection. It just happens to be for sale. Probably a $200 shirt. Yeah. I've even had family members and stuff like, you've really changed, man. From the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, it's on your mind. Long-term investment. And I think that's wrong. I knew I was doing something right when I was able to get.
Actually, first thing.
So you want a tour?
I want a tour, yeah. I want you to show me some of your prized possessions. I want you to show me rare items.
Okay.
Anything that has a good story behind it. Look at this price tag on there.
Yeah, that old Looney Tunes stuff is
It's that expensive?
pricey. That's probably a $200 shirt. Yeah. I try to price my stuff below what everybody else is asking, but I'm also very negotiable. So if you said, hey, 90 bucks, sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am Red. I am the Red in the Red Genesis. And I started this place about 4.5 years ago. I started this business with $5,000 in my collection.
Wow.
So here we are.
Okay. What were you doing before?
So before this, I was selling part-time at the antique mall and then doing production work. So I was a backline tech. I would rent out drum sets, keyboards, amps to bands that came to town, national artists. So
What antique shop were you at?
Sleepy Poet.
Oh, okay, in Charlotte.
Yeah. And I had some money saved up and I just decided to open my own shop and get out of the antique mall. So.
Yeah. So did you always know that that's something you wanted to do?
You know, I wanted to be a famous drummer. I'm a drummer. I do like heavy metal stuff, Deftones, Tool.
Yeah.
But I've collected toys for probably about 10 years and then selling out of the antique mall kind of got me, put a spark underneath me to where I really got back into the hunt. For me, it's about the hunt.
Yeah.
So like when somebody walks through the door with a bunch of stuff, I get excited. Or if I'm out and about, I get excited.
So not an eBay guy.
No, I don't buy anything. Everything in here is locally sourced, organic, vintage plastic. I don't do any eBay, you know what I mean? So, and I don't sell on eBay either because I want my customers to walk in and be able to get this stuff here.
What's a day in the life in the store?
It's about the lifestyle. It's about, we hit the Goodwills before we come in. And I don't want people to think I'm out, buying the stuff from Goodwill and bringing it in here. It's not that. It's about the hunt. So a day in the life is we get up, if it's a Saturday or a Sunday, we hit the flea market, we hit the Goodwills, we go grab some Zaxby's on the way in, we crank up the music, and we just chill out and have a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
What are you teaching your girls about collecting and what are they
So I think,
feeling
girls,
about
what
it?
am I teaching you about collecting?
So you're teaching us how you sell it and what's to do to find the price and you're also teaching us how much it's worth and stuff.
And about the nostalgia and about the way that things used to be, right?
Sure, yeah.
Because 2025 is not that fun, right? The fun times were the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. So it's our job to keep this stuff alive. And that's kind of what I'm teaching them.
Yeah.
So this is a Star Trek phaser battle. These were made by Mego. Now, not only is it super rare and it's been sitting on the shelf for about 2 years, these things were mostly focused around Star Wars initially. So to have a Star Trek piece like this, probably won't see another one. That's probably one of the more rare items in the store.
What was your first experience with toys as a kid?
He-Man.
Yeah?
Yep, He-Man was my
He-Man
was my favorite toy line. And then it later turned into Mask, Ghostbusters, Thundercats.
In 2 sentences, can you describe He-Man?
Do they have to be complete sentences?
No, some people just said words.
Fantasy and muscles. I mean, it was about being strong and it was about a world that was different than ours, a world that doesn't exist, but exists. When the Gaston Gazette came and covered me, they asked a lot of questions about, well, what got you into this? And so when I was 7 years old, I had cancer. And so I missed out on a lot of my childhood. Years later, when I started to collect, it started with a garage sale that I went to, and I started to recollect again. That was my missing out on my childhood, a way to relive that. So that's kind of what got me into it, and that's what's kept me in it. As you can tell, I'm not organized at all, Kim. It's a matter of, can I get it in and can I make it fit?
Yeah.
And I want people to keep looking, so I don't have per se like sections. You know what I mean? This Grateful Dead plate, that's a pretty rare item that you're not going to see. This Frankenstein ad that somebody brought in framed, that's an item that you're not going to see every day. Over here near the door, these are old Halloween costumes. So in the 60s, before they went to the little small mask like you and I were talking about.
I don't think she had the crown, but it was very similar.
Probably the rarest one is that right there.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool.
Yep. Got a max. This one, that's probably the one you had, right?
Something similar,
Something like that. So these were oversized. So just imagine in the 60s, 5 or 6 kids walking down the road, coming towards you with their trick-or-treat bags. These were designed to go over your head, and they had the eye holes. And these came in from a really good friend of mine. His name's Mr. Puppet. And Bob is one of the coolest guys. You need to go film Bob's collection. He's down in Hilton Head. He's got some of the most awesome 1960s through about late 1970s toys that you'll ever find. And with these guys, you can see that it's starting to degrade. But they were literally fit over top of your head, and they were super hard to breathe in. This one still has the tag. It's called Loudmouth. When you hit it with a black light or hit it with a light off of your car, it's going to actually glow. So these are super rare.
What's a toy that sparked all of this? But was it He-Man?
So they got me into business?
Yeah.
I think it was all of it. I think it's the colors, it's the packaging. You know, look at this Beetlejuice package. It's the neon colors, it's the vibrance. You know, it's a time before technology took over. You know what I mean? It's organic material. That's the best way I can describe it. Kenley, was that good?
Yeah, that was
Awesome.
Good.
Thank
Good
you, baby.
job.
Thank you, baby. Just stop regurgitating old lines. Every time that they reissue a wrestling figure or they reissue a Mask figure or a Masters of the Universe figure, it takes away from the original product. It's like when they went back and edited Star Wars and made it different, you know, took out certain parts, and stop doing that. Just imagination, come up with new stuff. You know what I mean? And otherwise leave the old stuff alone, because it not only does it hurt the value, it floods the market with a bunch of confusion.
But
know
do
what
you
I mean?
not think that that's going to be how, like, kids today learn about Star Wars if they're going to Target and they're seeing like Star Wars figures?
I think that's fine as long as they're evolving the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or keeping to the same story, but not necessarily just regurgitating the product. Come up with, you know, new stuff or ways to add to it.
Yeah.
Because when you constantly are reissuing stuff, it makes it less interesting, you know? And this stuff's supposed to be fun. All right, so right here, I've got a Mickey Mouse ventriloquist puppet. And I believe I got that from Bob as well. You're never going to see this again. This Batman mask over here, that came with an actual costume. That's 1970s. You know, I took it in without the actual costume part or the cape per se, but just a really cool sign of the times 1970s piece. You know?
Have you found any other ones like that?
I've probably
out
had
in the
one other one since I've been here in 4.5 years.
What was one of the hardest parts of starting Red Genesis?
Having to commit to being here and not being out looking for stuff.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part. I'm not gonna lie. It's just, you know, for me, it was like, it was the commitment part, because I'm not good at commitment. So to have to be somewhere for 5 hours, and I only work 5 hours a day, so I can spend more time with my kids. But initially that was the hardest part, because I wanted to be gone. I wanted to be looking for stuff, and I didn't trust anybody to run the place for me.
Well, now it just walks in your door.
Now it walks in the door, so that's the fun.
Yeah.
But again, if I was just all about the money and didn't care about the lifestyle, that would be enough for me.
Yeah.
But even when I'm not here, we're looking for this stuff, because I get a rush when I find something. Even if it's just something for the house, you know, I get a rush off of that. Another oddity that you guys were talking about, like rarity, that Frankenstein poster is super old. It's not doing any good behind this, but when you don't have space, you just pile it in. You know what I mean?
That's a secret way for you to keep it.
It is. And then, yeah, nobody wants to buy it if they can't see it.
That's true.
And, you know, that's the thing, too, is like lighting the cases up and creating some type of, you can't buy what you can't see, and you can't appreciate what you can't see. Like this right here is too dark for me, but eventually I'll get off my you-know-what and throw a light in here, and that'll change everything on this side. But
lighting really makes all the difference.
Lighting makes a difference, you know, and I go to some of these stores and I can't see what I'm looking at, and it's like, that's boring, you know. Did
anyone believe in what you were doing with opening this store? Did you have some pushback?
I had a lot of support from family and friends. Nobody really told me, hey, you're an idiot for doing it. I'm sure that, you know, people sometimes want you to fail. It's just human nature. And 4.5 years later, I'm still here. So.
Did you have some moments where you were like, hey, I'm an
I have
idiot?
moments all the time.
Okay.
Dude, when I started this, I didn't have a gray hair in my beard, you know, and I'm almost completely gray now. So it's very stressful being in business for yourself, but it's also very rewarding. So yeah. You just got to stick with it. And again, it leads back to the commitment part. I'm not good at, per se, like relationships and stuff, but you just got to fight through the bad to get to the good.
Yeah.
So
there's no music happening, so maybe it's not going to open. It might not open. No, it opens. There it goes. What would you tell your younger self? You know, when you're buying toys as a younger kid, is there something you'd say? Like, don't open it. Don't touch it.
Buy one to open and buy one to hold on to, you know? Because I remember when I was a kid, I would rip open my He-Man figures and throw away the weapons. I know I'm going to get lit up on that, you know, in the comment section. But that was me as a kid, you know? I would open my figures, throw the weapons in the car back in the trash, and play with the figure without the weapon. I remember having a Scare Glow. Do you know what a Scare Glow is?
I do not.
That's a Masters Universe figure. It's a late wave release.
Do you have one here?
I don't have one because when I get them, they sell immediately. But it's a really expensive, it's like a $400 figure now. And I remember getting one as a kid and looking at it and going, throwing it on the floor and never touching it again. So this is all about being able to relive the younger Red that didn't know better, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like be able to enjoy it as an adult.
I'll get it, baby.
Oh, I turned to the perfect page. Ooh, send to Blair. What can you recall being like one of the best items that have come in the store but you took home with you?
So probably one of the best items that's come through the store that I took home with me, and I don't even think I posted this. I had a Rambo Big Wheel come through here, and I had that as a kid.
Oh, that's cool.
So that went home with me. Yeah. And so it's hard not to take it all home, but I tell people this is my collection. It just happens to be for sale. So, and then I've got a ton of stuff at the house as well. So oddity type stuff.
So you've brought a lot of your collection into this store.
So when I started initially, and you may be able to go back to Google Maps and look at the old photos, but I had fold-out tables in the middle of the room. I didn't have any cases. The first week I was open, I had a bunch of kids come in. They were touching everything because, you know, everything was just, these are all original from the day I started, like this kind of shelving. But I had some kids come in, and as kids do, they touch stuff.
And you had a panic attack.
And I about had a panic attack. And so I realized, like, I've got to get some cases, but it's one step at a time with me. I like to almost build backwards.
When you first opened the store, yes, it was really empty. I think the walls were, like, a little bit, like, more, how do I say this?
Bare.
Bare, and, like, they just look bare. And what got me most excited about here was being on a newspaper because, I just thought that was really cool.
That was really cool, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the early wins that made you feel like, okay, yeah, I'm doing this?
You know, I can't pinpoint anything in particular. I think for me, it boils down to, I knew I was doing something right when I was able to get all my bills paid, provide for my girls, and not struggle with anything. Mm-hmm. It's not about getting rich for me, or it's not about, I got to work 15-hour days to get rich. Mm-hmm. It's about living the lifestyle I want to live and being able to get everything paid and be comfortable. Yeah. And so that defines success.
What did you get wrong in the beginning? Nothing, because you're perfect.
No, I'm definitely not perfect. I'll be honest with you, it's all been kind of a blur.
Yeah.
I still have imposter syndrome when it comes to this. Like, it almost doesn't seem real, but this right here makes it real. I'm sweating right now. You know what I mean? And so, and when people come in and they're bringing me stuff and I've got a reputation to protect, that's what makes it real. That's what, authenticates it for me. I'm by no means perfect. Look at me. I'm not perfect,
How has the store changed since it's opened? Mainly the casings, or what else?
Yeah, I would say the overall vibe and the atmosphere in here is what's changed.
Yeah.
It's to the point where it's obvious I've outgrown it, but you start looking around at real estate and stuff, and it's just so expensive. And this is affordable, and I can make this work for what it costs me to be here. And I also have storage next door. I could fill this place up 3 times with what's over there. So for me, it's about.
So we need to tear some walls down.
Yeah, we need to get Hertz Rent-A-Car out of here. They're next door. But yeah, it's just it could always be bigger. It could always be better. But I think when you focus on making what you have work, that's probably more important, you know? So for now, I'll just stay. And if something comes up that's right for me, I'll build it up, you know what I mean, into something bigger. So
how have you changed since opening a store?
I'm definitely more mature. I've even had family members and stuff like, you've really changed, man. I think that it's taught me that, you can succeed if you just put your mind to it and just stick with it and stick with the commitment part. You know what I mean? So
how has owning a store changed the way that you actually collect at home?
Well, I'll be honest, it's gotten to the point recently where I've bought so much over the years that I'm trying to kind of clean up a little bit. You know, my house is extremely cluttered. Is my house cluttered, girls? It's cluttered. But yeah, it's when you do this for so long, you just accumulate so much stuff that it gets to the point where it's like, all right, I need to probably thin the herd a little bit, which is why I've started bringing my stuff from the house, like some VHS that you just can't find and stuff like that. And I try to focus on that kind of stuff too. Just buy what I like and not feel like I've got to just buy it just because I can make some money on it. That's when things change for me. Yeah. When I started buying stuff that I like.
Yeah. You said earlier, this is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
What do you mean by that?
From the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, it's on your mind. I've noticed recently there's a lot of collectors or guys that have come into this industry, and for them, it's more about long-term investment. And I think that's wrong. And I know I'm going to get slack for that, but I know that I'll get some support on that too, because this stuff is not about, you got to have the prettiest box. You got to have the prettiest card back. It's about how it makes you feel and the place that it takes you to. You know what I mean? So for me, it's about having stuff that's imperfect. I don't want a store full of graded stuff or, perfect condition. And, these guys that are doing that, it's fine. Do your thing. If that's your form of the stock market, then do it. But for me, the lifestyle is, like I said, you get up in the morning and you crave the hunt, whether it's coming into a store like this, walking into a Goodwill, or going to a yard sale. You know what I mean? It's about embracing the lifestyle, the hunt. And I'm trying to show that to people with my point of view videos that I've been doing. So, yeah. Which is taking off very slowly. I need you all to click the like and join button, or subscribe button on YouTube. I've got my own action figure. And this is where it gets cool with the customers and the relationships. Craig made this for me. That's me. Can you tell?
I see it.
And this is made out of an old Terminator John Connor figure that he kit bashed, painted. I got my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I got my little action figure. Got my Vans on, my Vans socks. It's folk art, and it's about the relationships that you make with people and the stuff that people show up with sometimes. I love it. I've got kids that come in here that have been coming in here since they were little. They're teenagers now. They might not necessarily be into it anymore, but they still come in. I got a rock that somebody painted for me. You know, this stuff will all be in the Goodwill 100 years from now, you know? I want them to be sitting around, you know, at a family dinner 20 years from now and go like, you remember that place we used to go to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a legacy. You know, I didn't have that before.
Yeah.
So it's great. I love it.
I mean, I think that's like the conversations we have now about Blockbuster, family video, and things like that.
Right. So that's the part that I love. One of my friends came in and said, what's your favorite cartoon? And I said, I guess she thought I was going to say Batman or something like that. And I was like, Death Clock, you know, Metalocalypse. And she said, okay, I'll be back in a week with something for you. And she showed up with this, you know, she hand painted that. Thank you for the toys.
Oh,
Jesus loves you, River. So that it's the relationships. It's not about the money. It's about getting this stuff to the right home and, you know, making friends and making relationships with people. You being here right now and this bright light in my face and how hot I am right now is this makes it relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I love that. I mean, you get to live in like nostalgia.
I do.
I mean, I think that's something to be said.
And, you know, like I said, the crappier the world gets and the more insane everybody becomes, like this is a way to ground people, and this is a way for people to go back in time and at least surround themselves with a different time, a better time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So everybody calls Red's my alter ego. Red can get away with things that Brandon can't. When I was at the antique mall, they said, you need a name for your booth. And I said, okay. So I started marinating on it. And I'm like, Sega Genesis was my favorite system growing up because it was vulgar and it was just, Nintendo was so PC friendly. And I just decided to make a hybrid with the Red and the Genesis, and that's where I got the name. So
I really like that.
And that used to hang above my booth at the antique mall. And I never really had a booth. I had like 4 glass cases that were just stacked full of stuff. So when I opened the store, I had about 300 followers on Facebook from the antique mall. And I was able to obviously bring those people over from that. And it's just been great. It's the best thing I ever did in my life. And it's also at times the most frustrating thing that you can do. You know, just it's a popularity contest. You can't make everybody happy and not everybody's going to love you. You know what I mean? But I'm okay with that. Hey, I knew we had something in common. All right.
Love that.
Okay, cool.
He totally would.
Just tell him it's from Uncle Red.
Uncle Red.
Right.
His birthday is coming up.
You got to bring him down to see me. I got the guys from Toy Addicts here. Girls, did we have a good time?
Yes.
It was
Thank
so much fun.
They're such a pleasure.
Kim is so beautiful. Thanks for coming, guys.
Wait, now I want to put this on though.
Thank y'all so much.
She's starting middle school this year, by the way.
Oh,
so,
wow.
boys.
Can you shut up? Stop. No, stop.
I'm just saying. Love you. Thank you.